I had to think this one through for a little bit, but my answer to this is it's impossible. You can never be too emotional in your poetry. The reason why I say that is because poetry comes from right here, like from your heart. It comes from inside of you. It comes from all the pain, all the frustration, all the emotions you usually wouldn't show. That's what you put into your poetry. At least good poetry. At least good poetry. That's what you put into it, right? So you can never be too open and too honest. You can never be too emotional in your poetry. Now, instead of being too emotional, you know what you can do wrong? You can be too, what would be the word? I don't even know if there's a word for this. But basically, you don't try to convey the emotion anymore. You're just writing down words that say basically nothing when you put them together, but by themselves, they really work. Like cuss word, cuss word, cuss word, cuss word. That's how I feel. Cuss word, cuss word, cuss word, cuss word, cuss word. That is being too emotional in your poetry because then you're not even trying anymore. You're not even trying to convey what you're trying to feel. You're just expressing the emotion by expressing the emotion in a very non-poetic kind of way. If you're gonna write poetry, at least try to be poetic about it. You know what I'm saying? That's the only time where you can be too emotional in your writing. Another way you can be too emotional is if you are about to perform something and you don't take into consideration who you are going to be performing for. That to me is like the only time where your writing can be a bit too emotional. Like if you're going to a kid's party and you're going to perform a poem and your poem is about the day you almost committed suicide, two don't two don't really there's not really a click between those two. That's when your poem is too emotional. You need to take into consideration who you're writing for. If you don't do that, then you might be perceived as being too emotional, too dark, too gothic, too emo, whatever the word is nowadays. So what you would need to do, or what you could do, is take into consideration who is going to read your piece, who's going to hear your piece, who's going to be able to relate to your piece. You need to take that into consideration when writing certain pieces. Now, if this is just a piece for you yourself, by all means, say whatever the heck you want because you're the only one reading it. You're the only one that has to like it. And I'm pretty sure as soon as you wrote it, you're going to like it. But if this is going to be on a stage, take into consideration the stage you're giving it to. Like if you're standing in front of a bunch of old people and you're talking about my stuff is on fleek, they're gonna look at you like, I have no idea what this guy is saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to make it at least a little bit relatable to whoever's gonna read it or hear it. Now, if you're writing a poem that's going to be in a book, you have a certain amount of freedom. You do. Because in a book, you can basically write and say whatever you want because it's up to the reader to finish the poem or not finish the poem. It's up to the reader to, buy the book or not buy the book. They have a choice in the matter. You know what I'm saying? They have a choice in the matter. Usually, if it's at a party, they're already at the party. You're taking away that choice if they want to hear some real emotional stuff or not. You know what I'm saying? Plus, in the book, you can give it like a preface, like, you know what, this is going to be some emotional stuff. You might want to prepare yourself, yada, yada, yada. So keep that in mind. You can never be too emotional, but you do have to tailor your words to a certain degree to whoever is going to read your stuff. That is something to take into consideration. It really, really is. Because you can never be too emotional, but you can just be talking to the wrong demographic. And that's something I had to learn too, because I used to write really, really, really dark. But I realized that the demographic I was giving the book to was really, really, really light. So that was a total mismatch. It was a total mismatch. Now I'm writing pretty gray. I'm not super light because I don't like being super light. It's weird. I'm not too dark because, well, the demographic doesn't really gel with too dark. So I'm pretty gray right now. I'm like right in the middle, right in the middle. I'm still being dark because I'm still real, but I'm not too light because I don't like being too fluffy. Fluffy is just, blah, blah. So that's what I'm doing to tailor my words to whoever reads it, to tailor my words to whoever hears it, because I am taking into consideration who is going to listen to it. That's something you might want to do if you want to be perceived as a better writer than you already are. If you want to get some kind of feedback other than that was nice. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that is just my opinion. I heck, what do I know? I'm just a poor old poet sitting in a room talking to a screen. What do I know? What do I know? But I am curious though. What do you think? Can you be too emotional in your poems? Can you be too open with who you are, what you've been through in your writing? Is it possible? I'm curious because to me, it's not possible. It's just you're talking to the wrong demographic. It's the only thing that could happen. You're talking to the wrong demographic. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that subscription button, hit that notification button. The like, it's up to you. You can do whatever you want. If you don't want to like it, I don't care. As long as you commented, you subscribed, we're good. Holla at me. Fino.
Love, loss, finding yourself, acceptance, moving on, Pulse, available now.